checking up Carl's DCT fluid on his E93 M3. He's having some jerkiness and some uncomfortable shifting issues in first and second gear. So we're gonna get the car up in the air and then top off the fluid. So to top up the fluid for your DCT transmission, you'll need 1 or 2 bottles of DCT fluid. Carl bought the Liqui Moly version instead of the Pentacin, which this one's cheaper, but it should theoretically be able to mix with the current fluid in there. You're going to need an 8mm Allen wrench, a fluid transfer pump, and that's pretty much, oh yeah, you're also going to need a diagnostic tool to be able to read the temperature of the DCT fluid in the system. So this is Carl's DCT transmission. It's leaking pretty good. You see a lot of leaks coming out from the side pan, the main pan, the mechatronic sleeve up top. Right here is the fill screw. It's an 8mm hex, and we're going to fill in through there using the fluid transfer pump. Okay, got it. So this is the oil that Carl chose to use, dual clutch oil by Liqui Moly. It's 8100 gear oil, and we're going to mix this in with the current oil in there right now. We're hoping to just top up maybe 1 bottle, but we'll see how much or how little fluid is in there. Can't really tell the color of it right now. But anyways, I'm going to check the DCT fluid level while the engine's off, and then see if anything comes out. If something comes out, then we're filled up here and we need to turn the engine on and see if there's anything coming out while the engine's on. So let's check it out here. It's kind of hot still. Okay, so you can see some fluid coming out. Yep, there's fluid coming out. So I'm going to put the plug back on. We've been waiting for about almost 3 hours now, and the temperatures, I'm looking at the oil temperature clutch. It's at 115 to 116-ish Fahrenheit. And you should be doing this when it's about 80 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So ideally doing this from a cold start would be the best case scenario, but right now Carl has to go soon, so we're just going to do it now and see what happens. But what we have to do is we have to turn the engine on and then rev it to 2000 RPMs and hold it for a minute. Before we do that, we're going to explain the process because you have to be very quick. The temperatures heat up very fast as soon as the engine is on. As soon as we are done revving it to 2000 RPMs for a whole entire minute, I'm going to go underneath the car and pop open the fill plug and see if there's anything coming out. If there's nothing coming out, that means that it's low on fluid and we need to fill it up. If there is something coming out, then that means that it's full. Starting the timer, 2000 RPM. You can see it already rising to 120. Alright, so we're going under the engine and checking the level. Okay guys, so no fluid came out, which means that Carl is low on DCT fluid, and that explains why it's overheating and getting too hot. I removed the fill plug. You may not have seen because the camera's too low, and I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it's low. So we're going to pump some fluid in. We're going to let it cool off a little bit. So this one's going to go right over here, and then we're going to suck out the fluid. It's going to be pretty messy, guys. This is a hard one to do without making a mess, unfortunately. I'm going to have Carl start the car in a minute here, and then he's going to hold this bottle so it doesn't spill. So put the tube in, and fill until you start to get something coming out. Okay, so I can see it coming out now. I'm just going to keep on filling a little more here. Alright, let's take it out. Now go ahead, take your drain plug and plug it up. Alright, so now the DCT fluid is filled up. There's should be no more low fluid. What we're going to do is we're going to get the car back on the ground, and we're going to do a little test drive, and hopefully everything's smoother now. Alright, we're going to see here if it's still clunky.
Much better.
It's much better.
You only clunked once.
Wow. Yeah, that's okay because it's it needs to catch. Yeah. But much better. So yeah, we filled. I think I ended up putting around a half quart in. It was about a half quart low. So this car is 100,000 miles, and over time it became too low in oil. Downshifts sound good. Yeah, I think it just needed a top up. So this is a viable option if you're having some issues with your DCT. So we're taking off in first. So much smoother. Before it was very clunky just taking off in first. Now he's going to switch to reverse, and then backing up there used to be some vibrations, but it's silky smooth now. So guys, if you have an older car, an older M3 with DCT, check those fluid levels and top up as necessary. I would advise just doing a whole entire fluid change and also changing the filters as well, but this could be a viable option if you're running low on funds and you want to save some money.